Today I am driving the first ever electric car from Maruti Suzuki, the E-Vitara. Maruti took their own sweet time to develop and launch this car in the Indian market, and there was a lot of anticipation building up to this launch, given how big a brand Maruti is in this country. The price starts at around 17.58 lakh rupees and goes up till 21.76 lakhs for the top spec 61 kilowatt hour battery pack, which puts it in the right in the middle of the electric SUV segment. Today I'll talk about its positives, its drawbacks, its features, and also how it stands against the rivals like the Hyundai Creta EV, the MG Windsor EV, and the Tata Curve EV. By the end of this review, you should have a fairly clear idea of whether this car deserves a spot on your shortlist. Now, let's get started with the exterior walk around. The new e-Vitara looks good when compared to other cars in the Suzuki portfolio. And I mean, Maruti does make good looking cars, but this one has the edge. The front houses a projector LED headlamps with a Y-shaped DRL, which also works as an indicator. It also gets front fog lamps along with front parking sensors and front parking camera. It gets flaps on the lower side of the bumper, which opens when battery needs cooling and shut for better aerodynamics. There's a lot of focus on aerodynamics since this is a born EV car. You get an 18-inch alloy wheels which are EV specific. It has a ground clearance of 185 mm and the length is around 4275 mm or 4.2 meters for that matter, which puts it firmly in the compact SUV bracket. The overall stance of the car feels planted and the panel gaps are tight, which is something you would expect from a car that's also being exported to European market. Hence, the charging port is on the left side. Now, let's open the boot. And as you can see, the boot carrying capacity stands at around 238 liters, which is really small for a car of this size and price. And you'll notice this that the moment you try to fit in more than a couple of soft bags. There's also an infinity subwoofer mounted to the side of the boot, which does does eat into some of that already limited boot space. But it does help. It does help with the overall audio experience of the cabin. Now, I'll hop inside to tell you what the interior feels like. Stepping inside, you'll realize the under-thigh support is lacking as the floor is bit high. That's because the battery sits underneath. There's a decent amount of legroom and decent amount of headroom too. So you don't really get a dedicated armrest at the rear. Instead, the middle seat back turns into an armrest with two cup holders. You also get rear AC vents along with two charging ports, one being a USB-C and another one being a regular USB Type A. So rear passengers are well taken care of on longer drives. And if I talk about the front dashboard, it has really good fit and finish. The level of quality Maruti has used in this car is very commendable. And up front, you get this brown treatment which looks premium, and you also get a two-spoke steering wheel. The one thing I don't like about the steering wheel is that it doesn't have any button to pick up or decline a call. You simply have to use the infotainment screen. They could have provided that on the steering wheel rather than having a dummy button up there. That brings me to the overall intuitiveness of the cabin. Even to alter the basic things like the regen mode, seat ventilation, and the driver's instrument cluster layout, you need to go through the screen and there is no dedicated button has been provided for that functions. That isn't very useful in daily driving conditions, especially if you have to take your eyes off the road to make quick adjustments. Also, the center console is finished in gloss black, which is a fingerprint magnet, and you will need to keep it frequent wiping down if you want to keep it looking clean for longer term. It also gets 12 color ambient lighting on the door pads, which adds a nice touch to the cabin ambience at night. Now I'll talk about features because this car has plenty of it, and it has pretty much all the bells and whistles you would expect from a car of this segment. You get a 10.1-inch infotainment system along with a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, which by the way mirrors your maps from Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Apart from that, you have a 360-degree parking camera. It has a decent quality and resolution is quite good. It also has rain sensing wipers and wiper quality is top notch with a dual blade wipers. It also has PM 2.5 air filter and the rear seat is also adjustable, so you can slide it forward or backward to get the maximum legroom and stretch out. It also has an acoustic vehicle alert, which makes some sound outside while the car is moving to let people know a car is approaching them. and that is necessary because EVs are extremely silent. It also gets ADAS, making this the third Maruti car to get it, after Grand Vitara and the Victoris. It is a blind spot monitor which works well and blinks when someone's in your blind spot while you are changing lanes, provided you have given the indicator. It also has lane departure warning and it has adaptive cruise control as well, where the car adjusts its speed to match the car moving ahead of it and return to the set speed as soon as the car moves out of your lane. You can also adjust the following distance from the car up front using the steering mounted button. And in terms of sheer feature count, it holds its own against the rivals like the Creta Electric and MG Windsor. Though some buyers might feel that a few of these features should have had a physical shortcut buttons instead of buried inside submenus. Now, let's dive into the technical details while driving. And the moment you get behind the wheel, you will realize the steering is fairly light at city speeds, making it an easy car to maneuver. Maruti offers two battery pack options, first one being a 49 kWh battery with 143 horsepower and 193 Newton meters of torque, and a bigger battery with 61 kWh of capacity with 174 horsepower and the same Newton meters of torque. Expect around real world range with the bigger battery around 420 kilometers to 440 kilometers. While with the smaller 49 kWh battery, you can expect somewhere around 350 kilometers of range. Both of these batteries are BYD sourced and it's a blade cell tech battery with 120 lithium ion cells in the bigger battery pack and around 96 cells in the smaller one. The batteries are these batteries are IP67 compliant, and this car also gets the option of all-wheel drive in the UK, though that isn't being offered in India. 0 to 100 takes somewhere around 8.9 seconds and the performance is fairly decent, though 193 Newton meters of torque isn't great for a car of this segment. The Creta EV for comparison has 255 Newton meters of torque. This car is based on an Hardtech E platform, which is a born EV platform, meaning the car isn't based on an internal combustion engine car. It has been solely developed for EV architecture. This is a front wheel drive car, so despite being a born EV, you would have gotten a frunk as well if this car were rear wheel drive. Since there is no front motor taking up that space, Maruti could have provided rear wheel drive as well. Also, Maruti also offers BAS or battery as a subscription, where you don't have to pay for the battery outright. Instead, you can subscribe to it. It could be useful for someone who plans to keep the car for a short period of time, like a year or so. This car weighs at around 1.8 tons, which is quite heavy, and it has three driving modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport. These modes affect the range. Eco will get you the most range, while Sport is focused more on performance, and Normal is a balance of both. The car is a little less insulated from wind noise and tire noise compared to the other cars in the segment, and there are two charger options: a 7.4 kWh AC charger and 11 kWh fast charger. It can also charge on a 70 kW DC fast charger, which is sufficient enough to take it from 10 to 80% in around 45 minutes. This car is also made for European market and passes build quality tests with flying colors. The car comes with slightly low profile tires, which makes you feel bumps and undulations a little more. The suspension is a tad bit on the stiffer side, and the steering wheel has a good amount of feel and feedback, and it is very confidence inspiring. Handling is decent and the center of gravity is lower thanks to the battery pack mounted on the floor, which also helps the car feel composed through quick directional changes. Overall, this doesn't feel like a car that's been rushed to the market, and the ride and handling balance feels properly sorted, which again comes back to the fact that this platform has been benchmarked against European roads and European buyers. So now let's come to the conclusion. The E-Vitara offers the biggest battery at this price point, and being a Maruti Suzuki, the peace of mind ownership experience continues here too. And the fit and finish levels are quite nice. If only Maruti could solve the interior ergonomic issues with this car. The car is manufactured in India and exported to Europe. So you're effectively going to get a European spec car at a price point of around 21 lakhs. Overall, it's a good looking electric car, and just don't expect a lot of features and space with this one, because especially if you're cross shopping with against the cars like Tata Curve EV or Creta EV, which has a bit more space to offer. Other than that, it's a really good car to drive spiritedly. And I think you should go ahead and consider buying this one if what you are after a well-rounded SUV, which is also Euro tested from brand you already trust. I hope this pretty much sums up today's review, and thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments in which car should I review next. I'll see you in the next one.